62 per hour. Yeah, 63 per hour. 67 downhill. 74 on the flat. Yeah. 82 downhill. Yeah. Hi, it's me, Andrzej. It's the 391st day of the pandemic. Sometimes I'm struck by the meaninglessness of existence, especially when, in theory, we're doing pointless things. But this time, at first glance, rebuilding a Chinese scooter, Chinese. Why am I doing this? I could say it's Polish. Shit. Rebuilding a Chinese scooter seems like a totally pointless activity because these vehicles are quite cheap. So really, when one wears out, in theory, you could just buy a new one, but that's not actually true. IM Intermotors and Parts said, hey, listen, we have these parts available for Chinese scooters. All sorts of them. Basically all of them. Do you have any idea what to do with them? So we buy a scooter because whenever we come up with any idea, it always has to involve buying some kind of vehicle because that's what puts a smile on our faces. So we'll find the cheapest, most ratty one we can possibly find. It turned out it wasn't that simple, and we're rebuilding it with those parts. And ta-da! We did it! I found a scooter, aka Mariusz, and started the rebuild. We went to the I Am Ready EU website, and there you have to type in what you're looking for. At first, we didn't think it could be that easy. It's just like with Mac computers. At first, when you use them, you can't figure things out because sometimes they're just too simple. So on I Am Ready, you go in, type Chinese, and parts for a Chinese scooter pop up. How do you know if you're buying parts for the right scooter? And that's also simple because if somewhere on your scooter's engine number it says GY6QMB or something related to that, because GY6 is the engine type and QMB is probably the displacement. In any case, if you see GY6QMB anywhere on your engine, that means that's the one. And even if it doesn't have that particular feature, but it is a 50cc four-stroke engine and it originates from China, then a significant 90% of the replacement parts you will find will simply and perfectly fit. So that's what we did. So considering that theoretically we could have taken it apart, checked what was wrong, why the engine wasn't working, and fixed only what was necessary. But since we want to give the scooter a whole series of adventures, it's better to replace as much as needed. So basically, we actually replaced the entire cylinder, the head, the starter. We bought a Sport CDI because we increased the displacement a bit. You can get one that's almost 80 cubic centimeters. Power! A Sport exhaust and many other smaller things just so everything would be new. In the end, the parts cost us just under 1,000 zlotys. For example, the head costs 135 zlotys, complete with valves, camshaft, gaskets, basically everything. The cylinder with the piston is about 70 zlotys. So that's it. It's just amazing that it's so inexpensive. And the parts actually arrived. I expected, when things are relatively cheap, that they just come in some bag and that's it. And all these imports products, really because it's imports, a Polish brand that of course imports these things, but everything is so nicely packaged, so aesthetically pleasing, that I thought, damn, it's really impressive. And so pack everything. With the scooter in place, Victor started assembling it in our garage. But of course, later on, things kind of fizzled out, so I decided, okay, this scooter's been sitting here for so long, let's take it to the professionals so they can assemble it, fit everything, and get it running. And that particular job in Warsaw, Poland, cost around 500 Polish zlotys for all the extensive labor involved. I fully expect that in other workshops, especially those where the overall prices aren't quite so prohibitively high, in the real world, in everyday life, this specific service will undoubtedly be even more affordable and considerably cheaper. You have to be honest with yourself. If you don't know how to do something, don't mess with it. Just stick to the work you know how to do. Post on Instagram and let others do what they do best. Exactly. Some people are celebrities and others are mechanics. That was a masterpiece. Because our scooter came back to life and sounded like a gangster. You look at it and you know you've achieved success at work. We've already picked up the scooter and, like a couple of fools, joy. Awesome. It'll be ready in a moment. We set it up. And of course, for the next 2 weeks, it just sat there again because there was no time to ride it or the weather was bad. So it just stood outside like that. Unfortunately, because there was no space in the garage. So what now? And I walked up to it to take it for its first test ride, and bam. Sorry, sweetheart. I love the scooter. Hey, it doesn't smell like oil at all. Maybe there isn't it. The servo is working properly. This scooter is more fast and slow. And look at how much patience those Uber Eats people have. How long have we been riding to a place that usually takes us 10 minutes? Oh, the key popped out. I thought it was going to stay here for good. It could do 74 on flat ground. Yeah. 82 downhill. Yeah. And now that I started riding, it seems like over this distance it broke in a bit because it started to go more vigorously. And I mean, if you can theoretically ride this with just your ID, then with a little bit of quiet tuning, it goes that fast per hour. In my opinion, it's the best thing you can do for not a lot of money. Wait, I need to calculate the operating cost exactly, but the scooter cost 800, parts were about 1,000, and in the end, labor was probably 600 or 500, so it came out to 2 andlets. The scooter ended up costing 2,500 zlotys. I wonder if you can buy a new one for 2.5. You can, but I doubt it would be a new one. Although, no, you can't buy one anymore. Those days are over. And after the first test ride, it turns out that it probably broke in. I don't know. We'll still be checking the top speeds, but now the real adventure with it is just beginning. Well, first of all, we still need to wash it, clean it up a bit, and then give it a series of tasks. The first one we favor will be up to Mariusz, and then we'll keep you updated on the next ones, and for some of them, you'll definitely be able to help us out too. Keep your fingers crossed for Mariusz. Mariusz's scooter, the scooter of Mariusz. This scooter and Mariusz. Hey.